Hi there, it's Sam from Pootles.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today's project is the little chocolate box, and inside here, I'm going to slide off the ribbon, are two green and black chocolates, and they are gorgeous. And those of you who shop with me, you know that I like to send these out. I send them quite frequently, but they just look so beautiful when they're packaged up prettily like this. So I'm going to show you how to make this particular box. The finished dimensions of it are 3/8 of an inch by 2.5 by 2.5 inches, which is 1 centimetre by 6 by 6 centimetres. And this is actually rose red cardstock. You can see it better there. So it's rose red, and then it's got the rose red stamped over the top, which kind of took on a bit of a cherry cobbler-esque look to it, which is why I put the cherry cobbler linen ribbon on here, which is the one that's in the Christmas catalogue, but I'm going to do a different colour as always. And this is the Hello Darling stamp set, which I'm using this one here, which is the block, and I'm using it with Wisteria Wonder this time, and I just thought it looked rather lovely. So I've got it ready prepped up on my block, and I have just re-inked my ink pad, so it's all a bit sticky. And it keeps lifting off the worktop. And that one there. So you just randomly stamp. That's all you do. So, and then grabbing your scoring tool, the cardstock measures 3¼ by 6.5 inches, which is 16.2 by 8 centimetres. And with the long side at the top, I'm going to flip it around that way, you score it at 2.5, 2 7/8 of an inch, 5 3/8 of an inch, and 5 3/4 of an inch, which in metric is 6, 7, 13 and 14.2. I'm not sure if that's right, I can't remember. Is that right? 13? Yes, it is 14.2 because it's just slightly bigger. And then in when you turn it around, you score on the short side at 3/8 of an inch and 2 7/8 of an inch, which is 1 7 centimetres. This is what happens when you build your samples and then you build your prototype and then you get around to filming it a week later. That's because we've got a slightly extra little bit there to help the close. I knew there was a reason for it. So fold your score lines. Oh, throw it off your desk. Fold all of these and burnish them, because while it's a small box, you do want it to have nice crisp edges to it. And then we need to remove lots of little bits. So you can see it best of all that way. This little square here and here, get rid of those, and the little square there and the rectangles, we don't need those either. And I'm getting rid of these just because it's easier to close it this way. It was not essential. If you were doing a bigger version of it, you would perhaps keep that part in. But it's just, I find it easier because they're such tiny little dinky little squares that the chocolate was getting tangled in them. So, and then this part up here, we're just going to round the corner just to make it neater, really, and just a prettier edge. Okay, we'll put that together in a second. And now the stamping, and I need a piece of Wisteria Wonder just to stamp on. So I've just got some scrap here. You can see I've done other things on it, and I have got, I'm going to use on this one here I used, what's the stamp set called? Hello There, which is a hostess stamp set, but I want to use a slightly different one this time. So I'm taking that image, and then from the Chalk Talk set, this one here. So I'm going to stamp those again, the tone on tone, and I'm going to take the circle punch round here. Now you'd think it would be the scallop circle, but it's not a perfect scallop. So this is the 1 3/4 to punch that out, and then this one is the 1 3/8 of an inch to punch that one. And I'm going to pop those up, that one up on the dimensional, and it's just quite pretty. How sweet is that? That's lovely. I like that. Okay, so down here, the box is going to wrap around. So this is these parts here closest to your rounded tab are going to be inside, and this is the outside. So I would use sticky strip or fuse. I'm just going to use snail for speed. And you fold up your sides. And then this one as well. And I completely forgot to cut my half circle in. You need a small oval punch or a round circular punch just to get a little oval in there. And that's how you get the chocolates out. Or you could tip them out, obviously. So there's my two little green and black chocolates. I've managed to put one in upside down. Tucked away in there, and then I can close it. And that was the reason for having that extra 2mm of difference there, was just to help it close. And then my ribbon, I have got the cotton ribbon, which is this one here. And cut off the length. And then my linen thread, which you could see peeping through before when I pulled it onto the table by accident. That goes round and tie a pretty bow with it. Doesn't matter if it's not perfectly tight now, because you can actually tighten it after you've tied everything up. You can slide it down and it will tighten. There we go. Just make that look a bit nicer. There we go. Trim those to shorten them. And then the way that I've got this to stick to the front, you could put dimensionals, you could put something like that. I just took my image, turned it over, and then I used fuse on the back, which is super sticky, and then I know that that will stick to the ribbon but nothing else. I'm just going to shorten that a bit more. There we go. And that is my little dinky chocolate box. How sweet is that? Look, there's all this stamping going on here. It's very sweet and a lovely way to give a nice little gift. Anyway, thank you ever so much for joining me, and I hope to speak to you soon. Bye.